Hey guys, it's Andrea. I'm back again to continue reading the letters that my grandfather wrote my grandmother while he was stationed during World War II. Let's get started. Next up, we're in November. This is letter 166. November 9th, 1943. My dear Andre, so very glad to hear from you again. I'm sorry to hear you are so many letters behind. Why don't you just forget about them and start afresh? As it is, you are always answering letters which you have had several months. I'm an average, it takes about 3 weeks to come across, and your letter average about 3 weeks apart. In other words, if you keep 2 letters in the mail, you will only have to keep writing once every 3 weeks. Write 1 letter, wait 3 weeks, write another, then wait for the answer of the first before writing again. I'd hoped that you would write more often, but that seems out of the question. The way things are now, it seems as though I were forcing you to write and answer all my letters. So if you will do as outlined above, I believe it will be much easier on you. After all, the war is a vacation for you. Oh, wow. And there is no use to spoil it by having to do a lot of things you don't want to do. Oh, someone's feeling salty. Someone's feeling salty. I'm glad you had such a nice time on your trip. You didn't tell me how long you stayed, but gathered it must have been about 3 weeks. Your last letter was about 4 weeks ago, and you said you were almost ready to go. This one says you just returned. Sorry you have a cold, but surely it is gone by now. So you're going around breaking the law now, and you tell me that you aren't guilty. Have you ever heard confession is good for the soul? Yes, I'm sure Mother did wonder why you didn't come for the invitation. What is he talking about? So now you're going around breaking the law, and you tell me you aren't guilty. I have no idea what he's talking about. Of course. Your friend, the lieutenant colonel, is a real sucker if he wants. Oh, okay. Your friend, the lieutenant colonel, is a real sucker if he wants to come to North Africa. I speak from experience. I don't know if your desire to ride in a Jeep enough. I didn't know. Oh, shoot. Just knocked all my letters askew. Gosh dang it. Hold on. Okay. He says, I didn't know of your desire to ride in a Jeep. Rough, ain't they? You say you received the 200. I presume it was the money order of September 11. I wish you would say so. You haven't mentioned the 100 of August 31st. Did or didn't you receive that? Oh, Lord, so Mother is sending me a Christmas present, too. I had hoped she wouldn't. I don't know why I shouldn't have... I don't know why I shouldn't have put down where I was being sent. I had told you to tell me if my letters were being censored, and you told me you would. You didn't mention one being censored in months, so I presume they were going through okay. I didn't realize you had become such a booze hound that the more mention of it sent you wishing for it. What? He is on one today. He's mad. You can tell he's mad. If that is the case, maybe you had better not try to carry out the plan of buying some and setting it aside. You'll probably be drunk all of the time. Nope, I'm not likely to get another picture of myself in trunks. It's definitely too cold. Yes, I suppose you did laugh at Malcolm's letter about buying cases of whiskey. I suppose he is like me. It is hard to think of the States as you people over there speak of it. When we left, it was a very nice place to be in. Yes, it has been there a long time. Yes, it is quite likely he'll be there for the duration. No, Mother hasn't mentioned the paintings he sent. It's rather strange, for she's been writing very regular. She's been writing 2 or 3 times as much as you lately. That's very unusual. She usually only writes once a month or so. You haven't told her you haven't been writing, have you? I hope not. Here at the last, you mentioned something about April 14th and say you don't understand it. I haven't the faintest idea of what you're speaking. If you ask me questions, you should put the whole thing down. I can't know what you're thinking about if you don't tell me. We're very definitely not that close together. I saw a stage show put on by the Free French the other night. It was one of the sorriest things I've seen in a long time. None of them could speak English worth a darn. The master of ceremonies would tell jokes, evidently French jokes translated, and all such jokes are flops. And these were flops. They were dirty at that. A poor, dirty joke really stinks. That is, if you're not drunk, and I wasn't. I'm quite sure one, at least, of the girls couldn't speak English, but she sang American songs. I felt really sorry for her, but I couldn't help but laugh, especially when she would try to sing it up a bit. We have picture shows the other night, all old and mostly B. Had on the other night called Flying Fortune. They definitely not to show shows about heavy bombers to a heavy bomb group. Oh, yeah. Probably not a good choice. But the guys enjoyed it a lot because they had a lot of fun picking it apart. And boy, there were plenty of things to pick apart. Gosh, I love you, baby. I'm terribly lonesome for you. Went hunting again the other day. Y'all know his writing when he's in the when he's being very direct with her and it comes off a little brisk and abrasive. That's just like my mother. My mother speaks like that too, which that's her dad. She's very direct. He was very intelligent. My mother's very intelligent. So I'm assuming he was a very intelligent man as well. I mean, like, very high IQs. She's probably freaking genius level. I'm not exaggerating. But she speaks like that, too. Very direct and kind of, you know, it feels abrasive, but maybe it's just the way they are. I know it's just the way my mommy is. Probably him, too. Because she's one of the best humans on this planet. People just don't know it because she's got this hard shell. And she doesn't talk a lot and she doesn't say a lot. But she donates her time and her money, and she does all these things for all these people and nobody knows it. I don't even know most of it. Every once in a while she'll mention something like she has people on our phone plans that I don't even know, that they're like elderly people in the community that her customers. She'll keep their dogs for free, even though that's her business, you know. She's always doing stuff like that. So it's just that exterior, you know. Sorry, I got off on a tangent. Went hunting again the other day. Got a few birds. You have no idea how good such things taste after you eat hash and stew for so long. Not long ago, some of the ships landed in Italy, and I picked up some nice big turkeys. They also picked up goose, but everybody wanted to keep it for a pet, so it wasn't eaten. It waddles around camp and everyone feeds it. It's the darndest outfit for pets I've ever seen. There are at least 50 dogs, all the way from little bitty ones to 100-pound ones. Most of them like to ride. Whenever they see a Jeep or a truck that looks like it's fixing to take off, they hop in it. If you shove them out, they'll whine and beg till you let them go. Some of them like to ride in the planes, but most of them don't like that so well. One guy even has a monkey. They all show up at mess time and stand around till you give them something to eat. Then they'll go on to someone else. All of them are as good-natured as any dog you've ever seen. You ought to see the monkey play with the dogs. Oh, man, what a sight to see. I would love to see that. It's been raining the last few days, and all of the ships are grounded, so there isn't much work here of late. Several of the boys who were shot down over Italy have escaped and are back. Wow. They say the Germans really treated them swell. Good food and living quarters, books to read, and sports to play. Well, that's nice. They taught, what the heck does that say? They taught something foreign language, engineering, all kinds of things. My granddaddy was an engineer, by the way. They said that the prison camps were they said the Italian prison camps were much worse, and they tried to starve them. The German espionage system seems to be still working. One of the guys who was supposed to go on a mission one day didn't go, but went the next day and was shot down. They asked him what was the matter, that they were expecting him the day before. There are still rumors flying around about us moving. New ones every day. That one of them seem to pan out. None of them seem to pan out. The only place I want to move to is home, and I'm ready to go. I've been without my wife for much too long. I love my little old wife, and I want her something awful. I adore you, darling. You're the best old thing in all of the whole world. It has turned pretty cold, and the jacket feels pretty good, even during the daytime. Much too cold to go swimming. It is quite cloudy at night. When the nights it doesn't rain, which makes it very dark. It sounds silly to say it, but it's mighty easy to get lost in just the distance I have to go from the officers' club to my tent, especially if you have no light. The other night, I walked around a heck of a long time before I managed it. If I hadn't had the sound of the ocean to guide me and keep my general direction straight, I might have wandered for hours. All of the roads around here are flooded, and if you go somewhere, you're never sure of being able to get back. And a lot of the boys have had their cars drowned out and had to spend the night in the car or in someone's camp nearby. Even if you're only a mile or so from camp, you don't dare to walk because you're almost sure to get lost. A couple of fellows left for home yesterday. They send the flight officers home after 300 hours in combat. It really makes me feel bad when I see someone go home. It is the practice for anyone who leaves to have some money at the bar for drinks. A very good custom, only I have a pretty bad headache today. We have a very nice officers club here with a swell bar. You can get most any drink you want whenever you want it, and that really helps. This is quite an outfit. The executive officer who really runs the outfit, he is the ground officer. The commanding officers come and go. They're flying officers and leave after their 300 hours. Is really a drunkard. He is drunk every night. The CO does his best to keep up. A few nights ago, the CO drove a Jeep into the mess tent and knocked it down. I have got the worst case of dysentery, oh Lord, that I've had in a long time. It seems hard to remember the days back at home when you didn't get dysentery every other day. You died of dysentery. Y'all remember that computer game? Had real butter the other day. First time I've been overseas. They give it to the canned stuff, but it's so awful. No one even uses it. It was mighty good to eat. Bread and butter and jam again. That's about all there is, so I'll say good night. Love, Jimmy. That was a long one. Goodness. He had to give her quite a stern talking to the first couple of pages. I think he's sore. Looks at me using... See how I absorb language? I told y'all I think about this before. I'm constantly absorbing other people's languages and stuff. I'm bad about doing that. So, I bet he's sore about her going to New York. Because remember he said in the other letters he didn't really want her to go, but he wouldn't stop her. She went. And you can tell he's sore about it. Next. 167. It's another thicken. Oh, it's in. This is why it's in skinny paper. So he had more folding to do. Let's just do sections at a time. November 22, 1943, number 167. Darling wifey, good you haven't completely forgotten me. I'm so very glad, darling. You say you're worried because you haven't heard from me. Of course you haven't heard from me. You haven't been writing, and I haven't had anything to answer. This is the 6th letter I've had for you in a period of 3 months. And 4 of those came at a time. Too bad Hetzel and Herman had to postpone their visit. I think she's real nice. Hetzel must be the girl's name. Herman, the boy's. Very unusual names. Well, Herman, not really, but... You speak of going to Miami. I suppose you told me about that in number 132, which I haven't received yet. Oh. You're getting around, aren't you, baby? Yeah, you're having a vacation. That would be. I can see how both of them feel. You know, I can see him being aggravated. But he, you know, it's a hard situation for everybody. I hope you have a nice time. I'd like to go with you. Good. I'm so glad he left it at that. So you've got a black market in whiskey too, huh? That's too bad. Don't worry about getting the whiskey to put aside if it's all that much trouble. So you've got a black market in whiskey. Is that what he was talking about breaking the law and that she needs to not drink so much? That might be what he was talking about. Getting the whiskey on the side. We will always be able to get some one way or another. I thought it might be easier to get it now, but as it isn't, don't worry about it. Anyway, I wouldn't want you to get caught carrying whiskey across the state lines from Miami. That's a federal offense. Don't bother with it, darling. Sorry, your seashell was broken. Oh, we're actually getting to where we've read. Don't worry about it. I've got a whole lot of them here, also from the Red Seashore, that I'm going to send you when I get enough energy to hunt up a box to send them in. Yes, there is no doubt going to be a heck of a lot of building after the war, but I can't say I'm in favor of these flimsy, prefabricated jobs. When I build a house, I want it to be able to stand up for the rest of my life. I also want something that looks like a house. Yes, they are working a lot of details to make homes more convenient and make your work easier, but those can also be built into a house as well as those freaks. I'm sure they don't say freaks. As well as those, I don't know what that says. Yes, more production will cut the cost of such homes, but the vast majority of the work will still have to be done by hand on the spot. I, too, am rather ambitious as to the prices they quote. Oh, rather dubious. I, too, am rather dubious, indubitably, as to the prices they quote. Well, the most important thing about a home is the interior decorating. Is it? Okay. You might be thinking about how you want it to be furnished. I remember you used to agree with me that you wanted a home far enough out that you wouldn't have neighbors jammed up close on each side. As far as my Christmas present being messed up, it doesn't matter in the least. I just hope the big box was strong enough for one. This about wanting to live far off, I never knew them not to live in town. I knew the home that she was living in when I was old enough to know what was happening was square in the middle of suburbia. And Mom showed me the house before that they lived in Paragould, square in the middle of a suburbia. So I don't know what the heck she's talking about. She didn't get that wish. We did. We live way out. Anyway, as far as my Christmas present, yeah, he doesn't care if it's tore up. All of the packages are terribly marked. And lots of them get here with things lost out. I hope you like your Christmas presents. If you don't, just remember it's pretty hard to do any shopping over here. We're fortunate in our location here. The war passed this place with but very little damage to anything. That's wonderful. Or, I wouldn't exist if he didn't survive. It's a relief to get away from all of the wrecked buildings and houses, etc. It isn't a large place, but it isn't too small. It has a lot of little streets we call alleys that are very narrow, no sidewalks with front doors opening right into the street. They twist and turn in every direction. Okay, next section. Gosh, baby, but I'm lonesome for you. I miss you something terrific. I'm always thinking of you and wishing for you. The other day in the picture show, I got to feeling very low because you weren't with me. The orchestra was playing some slow, sweet music, and I really did wish for you. The place was designed for an open house, I suppose. It was in the shape of a U. Seats were on the ground floor. Instead of a balcony, there was just a bunch of booths. They were really classy. One of the booths was for the head man of the town and had a big crown over it. It looked good, but was very inefficient at home. A house that size would seat twice the number of people, and they could see a lot better. Did I ever tell you how it works over here? The most expensive seats are in the balcony, just opposite from home. But the places are much smaller, so you can really see better from the balcony. I took a trip not long ago and really thought for a while that I had breathed my last. So did the pilot. It made me feel bad because I couldn't see you again. What is this? Oh, Made me feel bad because I couldn't see you again. I just got to see you before my number is up. I never realized it was so important before. You do love me a lot, don't you, Mommy? I don't know what I'd do if you quit loving me. Well, this is a new place. Isn't a whole lot better than the last one. Respect at any rate. Wait. He must have been in a new place, first of all. I think that's the first we've heard this. Well, this new place isn't a whole lot better than the last in one respect, at any rate. It's still raining. You go months and months without rain. Then it rains every day. You get used to have dust everywhere and on everything, and then it's mud. You should have seen the landing field that we moved from. Just crossing it with a truck, you stood a 50-50 chance of getting stuck. You didn't have a chance of getting them in a Jeep. I look like a real bum. I'm in sad need of a haircut, but you should have seen me after I got it from that trip I spoke of. I had 4-day beard and mud and grease all over me. I don't think even you could have loved me bad you saw me then, had you seen me then. I'm expecting a slight change of address soon. Okay. They are planning on taking the order men out of the bomb squadron. Ordnance men. They're taking the ordnance men out of the bomb squadron and making separate company of them. But we will still be with the 98th. By the way, doesn't that number sound familiar to you? Remember I used to belong to the 98th Ord BN? That was before they changed it to the 303. Now they're changing it to the 607th. Most of all the old gang is out of it now. Pothoff is one of the few left. Did I tell you M. Bowden is in the 98th also? He came in the same time as myself. I don't know if you remember him or not. You met him. He's a big red-headed fellow. We have a nice building here. It's an apartment house. Electric lights, glass on the windows. It even has a bathroom with running water. Not hot. Of course there isn't any furniture, so we're still sleeping on our cots. There are 3 or 4 guys to a room, but it is pure luxury compared to what we were used to. The main hall could be better. It's in the basement and the rain comes right in and we have to wade through about 6 inches of water to get our food. Ugh. I'd still like to have some peanuts, hint. We can buy oranges and apples here. The oranges are pretty good, but they are a good bit more bitter than ours. We can get a few trinkets, etc. here, but as yet I haven't found any that I thought you'd be interested in. I spent the night in Army Hotel in Tunisia. They call it the Hotel de Sink or de Gink. Is that an S or a G? It was real comfortable. They give you 4 blankets in a small place on a concrete floor. Boy, oh boy. The charge is 10 cents. For supper, I had 5 egg sandwiches, which were good, real eggs, and a bottle of champagne. At least that's what they called it. I also got a can of nuts. It had lots of peanuts in it. I really do like peanuts, hint. She could have, he said it takes 3 months to get some. It's only been like a month. I'm crazy about you, darling. I think you're the best little girl in all the world. It's wonderful to have such a nice old wife. I adore you, Mommy. Later. I just got back from town. I bought myself a haircut, shave, and shampoo, all for the large sum of 40 cents. Ain't that something? I'll bet the next time I go, it'll cost twice that much. I haven't seen many Americans here before, but the boys are catching on fast. Prices are already going up. The Americans are a race of suckers. They'll pay anything anyone asks. The British really hate that too, because they up the prices on them too, and they haven't much money. Also got you a couple or so things. I'll send soon. All I ask is that you don't ask what they are or what they're for, because I don't know. I just got them because I thought I ought to get something. I hope you like them, whatever they are. That was my interjection, not his. That reminds me, I like you. In fact, I love you. Every little bit of you. I don't see how I've done without you this long. It's been almost 14 months, hasn't it? I know I'll be nuts if I have to go that much longer. You're nice, Mommy. Well, I'm about to run down with nothing more to say except that I love you, and I could keep on saying that till doomsday. I wish I could tell you in person. Always yours, Jimmy. That was a good one. What'd y'all think of that one? Letter number 2. Any thoughts? Put letter number 2, thoughts. Letter number 3. 1, 2, 3. It's skinny paper again, but it's thin skinny instead of thick skinny. This one's harder to wrestle. November 27th, still 1943. My darling wife, so glad to receive your letter. It is appreciated very much. Number 132 is still missing. Oh, it just skipped over it. You say that I can't know how glad you were to hear from me. You ought to have sweat that out from this end. You'll never know how disheartening and how disappointing it is for me to keep going over to the P.O. to find no mail. And then when I do get one, to learn you are answering several of mine with one of yours. It hurts, and I ain't lying. I sincerely hope it doesn't work down to the exchange of only one letter. She should just answer every letter, just if it's just one page. Mail it, just to make him happy. I know I should write about 3 letters to you, one so that I could continue to hear from you occasionally, but something, call it pride if you wish, just won't let me do it. I do so very much wish you wouldn't let it come to this. It's coming to drift. It's causing us to drift apart. Surely you can feel it too. I don't want that to happen, baby. We've gone through too many things to let that happen to us. It is happening to so many people during this separation. Whether I run into a case of it, it always makes me feel bad because my fear is that we are heading in the same path. Don't let me fall out of love with you, darling. That's the only worthwhile thing I have. But let's put gloom aside. Don't be sorry I'm moving again, or rather, I was moving. I like to move. It's the only really interesting thing you can do over here. Don't worry about the mail coming in late because of a move. It really doesn't make a whole lot of a difference. If you keep a record like I do, you will see that number 133 took exactly the same number of days as 134. And it was addressed to my old address back in Suez. No, this is not the job I was wanting, but it isn't too bad. But it did bring me to where I wanted to come. But more of that later. Yes, I am the only ordnance officer in this squadron. It is the ordnance primary duty to secure and hand the bombs to the airplanes and fuse them, usually at night, which makes it rather disagreeable. We also repair and maintain the vehicles and small arms, etc. I'm sorry the money hasn't been coming through to you, but I feel sure that it will. I'm sending you some French money. Unfortunately, all I have is 2 5-frame notes. The longer one is the kind used mostly in Tunisia, the other in Algeria. Both, however, are on the banks of Algeria. The 10 higher note is old money, still good, from the Bank of Italy. The other notes are printed by the Allies. The French, is worth 2 cents. The lire Italian is worth 1 cent. I put a little money in the package I sent you. Yes, Christmas is going to be pretty awful, just like the last one. You should have known that last Christmas I wouldn't be home for this one. I certainly knew it, but I certainly hope to be there for the next one. I'm glad you miss me, Mommy, because I miss you so very much. I'd give anything to see you. Gosh, but I love you, darling. You're the best ever. Yes, Roger's wife is still living with his father. She seems to have a very nice job. Yes, I know you never did care for any of those girls. You didn't care for any girls that I don't drink. What? Girls. You don't care for any girls that don't drink. Oh, you don't care for any girls that don't drink. Oh, Andre, okay. They're two goody two-shoes for Grandmother McPherson? Oh my gosh. To know them back in their 20s would be an experience, I'm sure. Because they certainly weren't like that in their elden days. I don't know why they keep changing the names of the old 303 outfit. Perhaps they figure that any change they make will help it. Even a change in name. I'm glad you like my letters, darling. It is very sweet of you to say so. Maybe it's because you like me. I hope. I like you. You're nice. I'm glad you did think of me on the day that separated us by a year. The day that separated us by a year. I was hoping you would think of me enough, or enough of me, to drop me a few lines. Foolish, ain't I? Yes, it was tough, me losing all my snapshots. I wouldn't have cared. It was my bag, but it was crowded, and I thought it would get there in better shape in the Foot Locker. Nope, I have no idea who took it. No, they didn't take any clothes. I wouldn't have minded if they did. I've got too many. I still don't know if you received the number 100 of August 31st. You never did say. I suppose that came in one of the many letters you didn't answer. Tell me if you didn't get it. I've still got the receipt. You should have $1,300 in the bank and $200 to get whiskey with. Only I want you to forget the whiskey and put the money in the bank. Sorry the car is causing so much trouble and costing so much. Are you still keeping a record of what it cost you? I don't suppose you are. I'll bet you enjoy Alma Ray Hutton. I remember seeing her at the casino. If I remember correctly, I got caught for speeding that night. If your dad likes duck hunting, he should have been with us in Tanzania. Let me fix my covers. Sorry. There were thousands of them. I don't know the name of the birds we hunted is. No one ever saw one like them before. Okay. I'm allowed to say now that I'm in Italy. I like it a lot better than any of the other places I've been. It's quite a relief to get away from sand. I took off for a couple days and went to Bari? Bari, maybe? It's quite a nice place. The Americans have taken over the best spot in town for the Officers Club. It was the Yacht Club. A stone building built. So I guess we invaded Italy. I should know more, shouldn't I? I did at one point. I've just forgotten. They have a very good orchestra playing every night with a really beautiful singer. I was surprised they were so good. The violin player comes out to play at the table. It was built along modern times. It was built along I don't know what that says. Lines. You'd have to go a long way before you could best it. Even in New York, I was amazed. It was built. Huh. Upstairs, they have a very nice dining room with Italian gals waiters. Those boys really live the life. Hold on. I can't decipher it. Those boys really live the life. Of course, in Italy, you can't get anything to drink except wine. But it is good, not like the stuff you usually run into in the States. What surprised me most about Italy is the people. They are a much better looking race than I expected. I expected them to all look dark and swarthy, like the typical I don't know if that's a disrespectful word or not, honestly. So I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to say Italian American at home. I'm getting the feeling that's not a nice one. I don't know. It isn't like that at all. The men, as a rule, are very good looking. And the same goes for the women. Some of them are really beautiful. And there are a lot of blonde, brunettes, etc. The stores are practically cleaned out. There isn't much to buy. I spent hours shopping trying to buy you something, but I couldn't find anything worthwhile. I'm sending what little I did get on to you. You can say it came from Italy, but that's about as far as it goes. Before I get back home, you are certainly going to have a bunch of worthless junk. But I'm doing my best. Adore you, darling. Always loving you, Jimmy. I'm crazy about you, Mommy. I'm truly lonesome for you. The end on that one. The end on that. What y'all think of that one? A lot going on. So we know he's officially in Italy now, and he's loving it. Lots of eye candy. December 4th. Dated November 30th when he wrote it. 1943. My darling wife. Well, I got your Christmas package. I'm afraid I didn't have enough willpower to wait until Christmas to open it. Is that okay? Oh yeah, it's November 30th. He's already opened it. The handkerchiefs were very nice. I can always use handkerchiefs. And now, especially, my foot locker isn't here and I'm out. I can't quite make out the slippers. They look like shower slippers, but I'm afraid to use them in the shower. They look like they'd come apart. Is that what they are, or are they just plain bedroom slippers? The stationery thing is swell. Wonder of wonder. It is actually something I can use. Really. It's very nice. After looking it over, I've decided the only thing it hasn't got is a set of reel to weigh the letters. A set of somethings to weigh the letters to see what postage is required. But don't worry about that. I've got to where I'm pretty good at guessing that. Seriously though, darling, it is nice and I really appreciate it. It's got a place for everything. I'm going to mount several snapshots onto the place where the blotter is so I can look at you as I write. By the way, did you ever pose for that other picture I wanted so much? Gosh, but I hope so. I haven't got a nice picture of you to sit out on the table. I got a nice little glass and chrome frame for me for one of the snapshots, but I want a nice picture of you, please, Mommy. And how's about those other snapshots you were going to take? I have been taking a few shots of myself, and they should be ready soon. Everything takes a long time over here. I had some pictures taken in the studio, and they should be ready in a few more days. I'm hoping they will be done in time for you to get one by Christmas. I doubt it, though. I'm still hoping you will get that package I sent you before Christmas. Oh my goodness, we're running along. This might be our last letter, but that's okay. I'm sending you 2 or 3 packages in the next few days. There's nothing any good in any of them. I paid less than $10 for the whole works, so don't expect much. I'm telling you all of this again because I told a whole lot of things I thought were okay, but found out later wasn't. So expect that letter to be pretty well chopped up. There really isn't anything you can buy that is worth a damn. However, I got a little handmade fish. I got a little handmade fish that I like a whole lot. I'm afraid it might be broken in transit. If it is, carefully put all the parts in a box and save them till I get home and can fix it. The fish is for you if you can appreciate it and can find a place in your heart to love it. So sweet. I don't know about the fish. I sure don't know about the fish. Otherwise, you must put it up and save it for me, 'cause you can't have it. And darling, take care of it, will you? Don't put it in some place that mob at your place can get at it and break it. Well, I've put in some more time touring the country, and I've come to the conclusion that I'd rather be at home. I miss you, Mommy. I miss you something awful. You're such a nice old wife. It wouldn't be so bad being away from you if you were some grouchy, ugly old hag. But your being such a nice, sweet, beautiful little girl makes it pretty terrible. Gosh, I love you, darling. You're swell. Thanks again for the package. I like it. I like you, too. All my love. Always yours, Poppy. Yeah, we'll end on that one today. We're only going to have one more video after this one. And we only had 4 letters left. So now we've got 5 letters left. I look forward to reading them. What are you guys thinking? Any thoughts, questions, feelings? Put them down below, please. I love hearing y'all's stories too. Please keep sharing that. And I'll see y'all at the next one.